It just doesn't
Well,
do
it
enough.
used to be hilarious when he gave 2 stacks on assist because you could never kill Soraka.
Yeah, I
That was
remember
the
the
end of it.
Leviathan. Yeah, back in the good old days when you do things like stack Sunfire capes.
It's like Sunfire Cape. Says if Sunfire KP was the best G.
I miss that. Yeah, because it's I mean health, armor, and you do damage.
Yeah,
So
really like you. You sit
it's
there.
gonna get rid of the fear of an AP just because you'll have health to sort of get rid of most of the threat of them because they do a round of casting and then they're spent and then scary stuff. So I mean hopefully this doesn't turn it into a thing. Yeah, they're gonna second AP Ezreal mid and then they'll grab Draven, send him down bottom with Sona.
Be a very solid
TSM.
matchup.
Haven't seen the competitive AP Ezreal in a while.
AP Ezreal's interesting, but he's
He is.
so dependent on the late game. Like his
Yeah.
early game, he can poke really well with Essence Flux, but he's just not that good.
They can
Like
one
it's cool
shot
gimmick.
Baron. That's it.
Yeah.
Just straight across.
Oh,
Anytime
totally.
you want Baron, just Ezreal ult, straight through. It's fine.
So Teemo,
Reggie gonna grab Teemo. He said it in the chat. He said that Draven was a pick for Teemo.
Draven's a pick for Teemo. Okay. So Teemo versus Diana. This kind of makes some sense actually, and I could actually see it working because Teemo, what's he going to do in the mid lane? Be really aggressive, build a decent chunk of AP. Diana doesn't have a way to really stop his auto attacks early on. Yeah, she's got the shield, but that has a 10-second cooldown. Yeah, she's got her own AoE and a skill shot, but Teemo's going to be much more aggressive compared to how often that will be up and able to hit. So Reginald's going to have a good chance to bully around a Diana mid lane. And sorry, solo queue, but enjoy your Teemos in the
Yep.
mid lane.
It's gonna be a dark time. So I just stopped playing for a couple of weeks. It doesn't. You don't lose yellow that quick, so we'll just forget about it until the Teemo guy. I can't stand Teemo.
Well, I'm sorry, because worlds are going to come up. Teemo's everywhere. Teemo top lane, Teemo bot lane. The worlds will just be
I
Teemos.
don't even want to. I'm gonna change games for a while. I'm gonna go play. What was it? Rise of Immortals. I'm gonna go play that.
Let's play some Demigod too.
Yeah, that's the one where you get the big guy, right?
Yeah, the big guy who
Yeah,
like
yeah.
crushes little guys. Like that was an awesome game, except it was horribly broken and didn't work, which is what made it not awesome and completely unsuccessful.
Yeah, but it had a cool logo,
It did.
and the box art was pretty nice.
Yeah, the Rook was really cool. That was the big guy. That's all I remember. And it was like the Rook, and apparently there was a guy that had Vladimir's Blood Pool, but it was dependent on mana, and you can get enough mana regeneration to sustain it for all time, and you could damage buildings with it.
That's why a solid balance department is important for any team.
Yes, yes it is.
So, I mean, let's talk about this, though. We got Reggie on Teemo mid up against Diana. He definitely had a hard time against Diana in the last game. And, of course, if Mandatory Cloud can have himself not even a great early game, because, I mean, the rough times were not necessarily during the laning phase. Reggie started to get over, farmed up over. It's always going to be good. But Diana just had a great game there in the last game for AL. Just lost one team fight too many, and just barely at that.
Barely. That was such a close fight. And Reginald and Teemo, his main goal is, all right, I'm just going to shut down Diana early, never let her get even close to having an effective late game, which, it wasn't the case last time. She didn't have that good early game. But late game, I think her base damage is actually just really high, and that's going to be the hard part to deal with. Overall, the team coming from Ferris it's scary in a lot of ways. So they have a really good front line with Diana, with Yorick to back all the front line, of course Skarner and Draven. So there's going to be lots of important targets up in the front line dealing their damage. However, there's not that much AoE on TSM, so they don't have a good way to kill everybody at once. That's kind of a good response from Ferris to pick this team that has a good front line against a team that really kind of does the same thing, but may not be considered as strong. Like, I would not consider Teemo as scary as Diana, unless Teemo gets really far ahead.
Or if he holds perfectly still for a couple of seconds.
If you see Teemo holding perfectly still, there's probably an arrow of mushrooms just pointing at him, so probably don't want to go engage on
No,
him.
it's a trick. Guys, don't fall for it.
If you do see diving coming out from Ferris, though, onto TSM, those mushrooms can play a huge role. Like, if Diana just goes in, which he thinks is an opportunity, there could be a mushroom, there could be a satellite, an egg there, cotton candy, a shield. There are lots of
Any number of
possibilities.
things. But we did see it, I got to say, in that last Teemo game, the Teemo shrooms allowed a little bit of sneaky move over to the Baron, pick up, allowed one for free, and I mean, just an amazing smite out of Smithy. Made sure that there wasn't a second one, but it was still just a great way. I mean, it's going to take forever to clean all those up if you got your Teemo doing work. You can really just carpet the area with shrooms. Even with an Oracles, it's going to be a long walk, and when you're starting up Baron, if they haven't been doing due diligence with an early Oracles, cleaning those things out, you can get yourself into a lot of trouble.
Especially if the Teemo, places the mushrooms in bushes that you walk into. It's like, I'm going to walk into this bush and check it. And if the mushroom's where you walk in, you're going to get hit.
Yeah.
So I like the Teemo pick. I actually do not like Teemo as a whole. Like, it's hard for me to like Teemo because I've spent so much time being annoyed at him.
He annoys me to death. He really does. And the fact that he is just so sort of built for running around the map and being annoying and cleaning things up in Dominion, he annoys me there too. I'm like, oh, I'll play Dominion. I'll get away from Teemo. Oh, Teemo. And I'll shake my fist as such. So I'm going to go use the bathroom real quick. I'm going to get the overlay switched over, and then I'm going to do that. And I'll be back.
Go do your thing.
2 shakes of the Fluffy Kittens whispers, and you can talk about them skins.
Oh, yeah. Them skins. Take a wild guess. Astronaut Teemo coming out from Reginald. A very, very good Teemo skin. He's got the looks. He's got the swagger. He's got the moon bounce. He will look amazing and stylish despite having satellites instead of... I like the shields. I like the shields from Super Teemo. I'm going to be honest. I like them more than satellites. That's just me, though. Let's see. What else we got? Boring Yorick. We have Syndra Diana. The skin that was edited prior to Syndra's release, so it would actually look different. It looks okay. I think they did distinguish the two characters, which is what they were going for. And we're actually already into game. That was actually a very fast loading for spectator mode. And let's see. Boots start coming out from everybody. Sona picking up a Fairy Charm. And Janna doing the same thing. So standard starts all around. Boots, potions, and its supports doing their support build. Where is the invasion? Where is TSM going to go? Where is Ferris going to go? TSM, they don't have the best level 1 team. They have decent burst coming out from Jace. They do have Sona with the power cord. Welcome back, Wombat. At the same time, there isn't really that much burst coming out from Ferris, but they do have Balls, who with Yorick can scout an area with his ghoul. And I'll actually be right back myself.
So, APHROOMOO about to run straight into TSM as Studio checks out. The Ignite going to tick away. They can't quite catch it up. APHROOMOO going to spend his flash, but keep himself alive here in the early game. And APHROOMOO with a bold statement of victory in the wake of his escape from the entirety of TSM, just not able to lock him down. The rest of mMe Ferus going to hang out in mid lane and make themselves as large as possible. Turn to the side, going to stick all their hair up on end in the hopes of frightening away the beast that is TSM. So, I'm going to get everything ordered up here on the sides. We'll get all these up. Change the area. Go. There we go. So, Teemo mid, Skarner in the jungle, Yorick up top against that guy, and I think we're set. Yeah, there we go. We're all good. Chaos does get the blue wraith. Golem's going to go over to the blue side, so going to be a little bit gotten back there. Reset on the tiny Golem as APHROOMOO is a little too gingerly in his expression of damage. We're going to make it out to the lane. Diana on the way back. Odd one. Grabbing blue, and not too much drama in the jungle, short of Chaos grabbing that big blue wraith, the big fancy one that's all full of candy.
Candy and that 35 gold is going to be a long way towards big Chaos. That much richer, that much farther ahead. TSM with that 100 gold advantage, are they unstoppable? I'd say yes.
You missed the APHROOMOO Great Escape, all 5 at TSM into the Tri-Brush.
I'll notice APHROOMOO's flash is now down, which makes him a relatively viable target for ganking. Sona with her E at level 4 or level 3 should be able to get a decent slow if Alwyn does decide to head down there. And the ward coverage isn't actually that good for Ferris right now. No river wards.
So, everybody onto the lanes. Hopefully everything's good for you. Everything good for
Looking
you?
Good, yeah.
Taken care of? Okay.
Watching the game.
Yeah.
Got a glass of water.
That was important. I just want to make sure you were okay.
I'm staying safe. I'm staying safe.
Yeah. So a quiet early game here. Like I said, outside of Chaos, grabbing the big fat ward, getting all of the delicious juices out of there, using them to make a sauce, you know, like a pan sauce rather than a gravy. Ball's in trouble as he's going to try and get away. Acceleration, he's going to make that one hard. Ball's just going to hang out under the turret and might be able to turn this one around. First blood goes down as Yorick can't quite make it. Smithy up top with a chance for a double here. theyre is going to do front flips as best he can. Chaos loses the duel, but Sona going to be able to pick it up for X Special. Money not going to go in the best of the directions, but at least an answer back as they go 2 for 2 overall. TSM ends up 400 gold out front. theyre is still low, but holding the line on lane up top as it goes tit for tat. And nobody falling behind early.
Nope.
Just a little too far out front of those minions.
I think Darius' mouse might have actually broken for a second there because he stopped to auto-attack the turret as they were doing that dive onto balls and took a long time to retreat. So that was kind of odd. Actually, mid-lane Mandatory Cloud going on to Reggie. Not winning that trade whatsoever, though. Not really a good situation for him.
Smithy on the way out, going to let Reggie know that he doesn't appreciate his laser beams. And we know Reggie shot first, so... Smithy trying to get over onto him. Mandatory Cloud still out wide. They take Reggie low. Smithy takes about as much as he can stand and is going to head into the jungle once again. Well behind just a touch here early on, but not in bad shape by any stretch. Ignite ticks away on Reggie. Mandatory Cloud going to have to play it back. Doesn't want to get into range of those nasty little laser beams as they are annoying. Even the sound, it's like he's mocking you, even with just the sound of his auto attacks.
Which is, Teemo does hate you, so it's perfectly viable.
All of his auto attacks sound horrible that way. Mandatory Cloud going to flash out, and the odd one gank on mid is ineffective, but does get the flash out, so might expect a return trip in through there in just a couple of minutes. And yeah, Mandatory Cloud had pretty decent health, but Reggie solidifies in not too bad a shape himself. Both of them out of health potions, so Mandatory Cloud in a little bit better shape. Reggie range though, so might be able to even that up if they can get another look through by the odd one.
Well, luckily, because Mandatory Cloud, he's low on mana, can't actually harass Reginald that much. That's why Reggie's still out there. He knows he can hang out. He knows he should be relatively safe as long as Xmithy doesn't catch him by surprise, which can happen since he doesn't have that ward coverage. But he is Teemo, he is fast and annoying, and should be able to escape that lane fairly easily.
So, Smithy, hanging around, feigning at a move up top. theyre is continually checking the gank rush, wants to stay around the side to make sure he is not set upon, but looks like he will give some time in through the tri-brush. No ward here, and theyre is well out front as Smithy swings in from the backside, and nothing going down bottom. Here we go, theyre is through the acceleration gate, tries the juke. Odd one going to come in to support level 5 Smithy with no ult to lock that one down, but still going to get theyre at least a little ruffled. They tussled his hair and got him back onto the lane, possibly enough just to keep him thinking. Keep him on his toes, and odd one going to back out of the tri-brush. APHROOMOO onto Chaos. Chaos really more onto APHROOMOO there as they run forward. APHROOMOO wants to win that trade, can't do it. Goes down to Chaos with no answer. Smithy back on top lane as theyre just refuses to accept his friend request on Facebook. Smithy asking why and pleading, but rejected by the hammer to the face.
And the truth is because he has a MySpace account. Really, the problem that they're having up in top lane isn't so much Jace versus Yorick, it's that the junglers are just camping there, staying so aggressive that they can't do much. Odd1 actually secures his own Wraith with Smite, as Xmithy himself showed up to try and steal it. Nothing to be taken further low in the bot lane, so right now, TSM, they have 1,000 gold lead, but the aggression is high on both sides. One slip up from either side could mean an easy slip, or an easy slide, with Ferris or TSM picking up a tremendous amount of gold very quickly.
Indeed, and a pretty quick 1K here for TSM. Will it mean for Ferris another one of those slow rolls towards a large lead, or can they get things back together? Smithy with a lot of solid appearances on lane. I mean, there is the reliable stun from Udyr. As long as he can get in close, Smithy's still really waiting for his abilities to come alive. He's got that early Oracles just 7 minutes in, and Udyr, are you packing the same? No such love for the vision detection there on Udyr.
And that would be the difference between Xmithy getting the kill and Odd1 only getting the assist for those first kills. So right now, theyre, he's in a good spot. He seems to be maintaining very well against balls. He does have the Vamp set to keep himself up. So that lane should be relatively passive, both him spamming skills, but being able to sustain it very well.
Yeah, Ball's hanging in there pretty good, as you were saying before. You know, able to stay in the lane. even CS down bottom, but it's 0-2-1 versus the 1-1-1 of Chaos. Going to give him a little bit of a gold lead as he works towards his early phase. Attack speed boots and Endurance Blade on Draven. 10 CS lead as Reginald keeping ManCloud at bay. ManCloud not necessarily wanting to do the work under tower. He's going to be able to get that crescent shot through, get some CS back and some things in his direction. Just a touch. Otherwise, pretty even outside of the jungle. That one kill going to put Skarner in range, though. And the kills across TSM spreading the money out pretty nicely.
Actually, Reginald in the mid lane does get... Oh, tries to flash out, gets ulted by Skarner. Can he get out of this? Lots of damage coming out. Doesn't have his escape, does just kind of go down. And that was Smithy finally hitting level 6. Becoming that beautiful, beautiful Swan that is Skarner at level 6 and getting that very easy gank onto Reggie.
Yeah, from Caterpillar straight to Swan. In defiance of nature and God himself. 400 gold difference between the teams now as they finally able to get that third one back. And I miss APHROOMOO just wide with the crescendo. Catches Muffin Cutie in the far edge of it. And all of that aggression will just kind of simmer down and everybody will go back to what they were doing, pretend that none of that ever happened. Especially now without his ult for a short while. Dyrus on to Balls. They've got the Ignite burning. Balls does not want to fight this one. Just going to keep going, and that acceleration gate shot. Balls steps straight into it and ends his own life in a noble manner. Odd One hanging out in the tri-brush. Are they going to make a move down there? Blue Pig in the area. Did he get caught? Oh, okay, he was clearing a ward.
He was spotted, going to clear those wards. The Oracle's actually a little bit more beneficial for X-Smithy because he does have those mushrooms to deal with, but Skarner and Diana are both bot lane. This could be dangerous for X-Special and Chaos.
In comes Smithy. Mandatory Cloud following him in. Just going to give it up. A lot of resources dedicated down bottom lane to give that one up, though Odd One was waiting in the tri-brush, so on the end of it, no great way around. Will they use this to try to swing a dragon pickup? Not so bold as that is Ferris. 10 minutes, 10 seconds off the clock, and TSM back out to nearly 1,000 gold lead. Right
now, Reginald in the middle lane, he started to spread his mushrooms around. You'll notice they're all in the bushes because at any point X-Smithy can show up and kill them very easily. So instead of trying to go for cool, sneaky mushrooms, they're going to be in boring spots just to go ahead and provide some damage and some vision without being cleared out easily.
Yeah, free wards, basically, to plop on the ground anytime you feel like heading over there. And with Smithy's activity on lane, not a bad idea at all. And the early Oracle's going to pay dividends in that respect. Mandatory Cloud straight onto Reggie. He's going to drop himself a little satellite and escape not quite far enough on the ult jump for Mandatory Cloud as he had just a little touch of a minion left. So he's going to spin the flash just to make sure that he gets clear.
At this point, Chaos and Special, they're back in the bot lane. 68 CS on Chaos, down to APHROOMOO's 74. Lane's fairly equal. Those two kills on the bot will, prove to be effective if they can actually land their skill. They need to get that crescendo combo actually in the top lane.
Nice, Smithy and Odd One going to go at it. They get the ult down on Odd One, going to drop the ghost just for the extra damage output, and it's not enough as Odd One shields and walks away. So that gank ends up not panning out. They added a little Skarner in there. As two Caterpillars better than one.
Actually, something really cool. The Ghost went onto X-Smithy. They weren't expecting him to die, but Skarner has some of the highest base damage in the game. So the Ghost went straight on him just for the extra DPS, which is pretty cool. I've never seen that before. Most Yoriks would be the greedy Yoriks going, R on myself. I just want to keep myself alive just in case. That's cool to see.
It goes horribly. Mandatory Cloud lands his crescent shot onto Reggie. Going to try it on under tower here. Finishes Reggie off. Smithy comes in too late to be a part of that little party. And Teemo going to go home with no more birthday cake. Smithy a little sad that he didn't get a slice himself. Chaos on to APHROOMOO again. He's been winning these 1v1 trades. APHROOMOO going to whiff his stand aside, I believe is that what it's called? Something like that. Knocks him to the side anyway.
Stand aside, yes. And they're looking for those openings on TSM. Every time Muffin Cutie uses his shield, there's that short 4-second window where he's not going to have it up. Actually, X-Special trying to fight APHROOMOO, gets the ult onto him. Here comes Ezreal trying to burst him down. Did they take him low enough? Not quite. Muffin Cutie takes a lot of damage in response, but APHROOMOO and Muffin should be safe.
Indeed. So a nice escape there by APHROOMOO out from under the oppressive hand of TSM support AD combo. Crucially, going to give some more time to free farm things up. APHROOMOO going to be sent back once again. But he does have that way of finding his way back into the game later on. In case it doesn't go his way, TSM now working on Dragon. No response really available unless Skarner wants to just do Madman Dash up there and try and pull it away from him. 200 gold difference going to be spread out to just over 1,000 gold once again by TSM on the back of a dragon pickup. But good work there by mMe Ferus, keeping it even up to that point.
It's a very odd game because there's these little advantages that are being exploited as much as they can. Like TSM, they're not denying APHROOMOO. APHROOMOO's a little bit behind because of the aggression he's taken and the damage he's taken, but he's still in a good spot. Like, he's 10 CS behind, that's fine. He doesn't have the kills, but he's okay. He does have that BF sword now, he's going to do a lot more damage. But doing things like pushing out the AD carry and going for a dragon, that's really trying to get as much as you can at every little advantage. And it's a great play by TSM to go for that. It's like, well, they won't be able to fight us because they won't have APHROOMOO, and that's a lot of their damage. So a smart play, I'm glad they did that. A Vision Ward being placed in that brush just to kill mushrooms and also check for the Dragon Ward.
So, 1k gold, the absolute difference between these two. Not a wide one at all, especially 14 minutes in. It could be gotten back pretty much any time. theyre's going to get pulled across, so they have the damage to finish him off this time. He's going to flash back out. Tower dive looking like a much more likely possibility. Ball's going to finish that one up. Assist out to Smithy, and will they go to work on top outer tower? Teemo on the way up as APHROOMOO gets to work on Chaos down bottom. Just going to disengage up top. Chaos going to catch a knock-up and stop them from falling along as X Special comes in to put the fear into APHROOMOO. X Special playing this one aggressive. They're going to keep Chaos at bay and try for the best here. Chaos and APHROOMOO in the duel again. APHROOMOO going to come out on top as he gets a little help from Muffin Cutie with a shield. X Special low, but APHROOMOO a little too low to try to capitalize on it in this case. Odd one chased out by Mandatory Cloud mid, back behind mid outer turret. So they fool around in his jungle, and Odd One will have none of it. Back to even after the dragon pickup lead is erased.
I think this is the first time in the game I've seen Ferris in the lead with gold. They're ahead by 200 gold. It's not a big lead, but they're finally caught up. Actually, X Special going totally mad. Will he pick up this kill? It's going to be close. Nope.
I like that kind of bold play. He said, you know what, I think I can do it. And he very nearly did, but just great reactions out of Muffin Cutie and APHROOMOO both. Not quite enough on the crescendo to get through all of that health. Not quite enough damage. And let me tell you a little secret. If he had built the way I build my Sona, Cage's Lucky Pick instead of the Heart of Gold second, he would have gotten that kill.
But he probably would have died beforehand.
He would have gotten that kill. No, he would have been fine.
Okay, alright, good point, good point.
He would have been perfectly fine. What are you talking about?
Okay, so top lane, Original was actually trying to hold for a while against Ball. Lane's kind of falling apart for TSM. Reggie dying mid often to Diana. Jace now holding it versus Diana, but Reggie can't hold the top lane either. Teemo, where is your place in this map? There is not a good spot for Teemo right now. Where does he go? Where does he hold?
Yeah, and indeed the CS numbers swinging in Ferris' direction as well. Jace the only one still out front right now. Not a huge difference between bottom lane and 2 CS, but what a significant statement is he was down about 13 at one point. He's been able to work those back. He has won the last duel against Chaos, even though they both had very attractive cheerleaders standing to the side. Janna is a little bit better looking, in APHROOMOO's opinion. Reginald going to get caught out. Well, not even caught out again. I don't know how much safer position you can put yourself in. The tower dive is just a little too strong here for Ferris, and Mandatory Cloud, unaware that Satellite's hurt to walk into, just gets out of range of that last tower shot by about 4 pixels, and Odd One can't catch him up. Wow, the line had formed for that final shot, and he just of a second.
Barely stepped out of it.
Yeah.
Was aiming to put its gun down. I can't kill her.
0.05 of a second.
At this point, Reggie, they just keep killing him. His score now is 0-3-0. He's getting very okay farm, but it's slowed down dramatically. He was much higher than Diana before. Now he's 25 CS below her. This is not a good situation for the Teemo, the Reginald. What do you do against really anybody on Ferris right now?
It's okay. That late game Teemo really starts to come alive. It's a rough one, right? I mean, he's 0-3-0. And that's the problem with a lot of champs mid versus Diana. She can get in there and put good damage down. Then you add a Skarner onto that. Where do you even go?
You go to the Nexus because you've died and you need to respawn.
Yeah.
And that's the problem right now. Like he can't hold against Diana most likely in just a 1v1 right now. Prior to that, Skarner was camping, and there's no good escape from Teemo. He doesn't have a good CC, so Skarner can't go in there. He doesn't have the best moving ability. You know, move quick's okay, but it won't get you out of a Skarner with his shield up, flashing on top of you, pulling you away.
And especially, I mean, him and Mandatory Cloud both just full on under the mid tower there. They were dedicated to that one. Even Mandatory Cloud, even more so than Smithy. As Smithy had disengaged, Mandatory Cloud thinking about coming down. They're going to roll in. pay a visit to Chaos and X Special, and that's going to prompt them to head back. Going to give away that there's a ward over in the brush, see if they can't pull somebody out. Get X Special to leave and give Odd One an opportunity, get Smithy to leave. And possibly give Odd One an opportunity, and it works out. Odd One going to be able to hang out as they get the brush immediately rewarded. Smithy comes back through. And how is this one going to turn out? I'm interested to see. Smithy rolls back over to the gank push. Another ward in there. And with the tenacity, will it be enough to get Odd One to leave? APHROOMOO going to check the forward brush. At the same time, theyre set upon up top by balls and just going to disengage. As Reginald a little too late to the party bottom to be of any help. They got onto Odd One's schemes just a little too quickly there.
Smithy does have his flash, so he can flash and pull someone in. Not many options because the flash is up on Sona and Chaos, and of course Chaos does have his Arcane Shift. He might just disengage, not really worth the dive, but you know, Odd One spent a lot of time down there. But his good reaction time and the pushing from Ferris was enough to prevent that from actually working.
So, no fight goes down bottom.
The top lane.
Taken down below half health up top. The action just fizzles on the discovery of Odd One in the bush. Reginald and Odd One hanging around Mandatory Cloud, which is back into the lane. Dragon's back up with an opportunity for mMe Ferus to give him a little love over there. TSM hanging out near him last time, and Ferris gonna regroup here, start ignoring Dragon, maybe just leave that to Muffin Cutie. And APHROOMOO up top. Reggie's Yorick on the way out runs into Reggie's satellite and ends up dead.
A good kill coming out for Reginald. Unfortunately, it did reset his gold value, so he's not worth diving in the mid lane once again, but that was just theyre's playing Jace. He flashed behind Balls, knocked him towards the turret, and the only escape route for Balls was that mushroom. So a very good play overall, really utilizing his team's advantages. Odd One up top just going to go ahead and help Jace push and clear out any wards. Bottom lane, APHROOMOO takes a lot of damage from the Sona as real combo, but they're looking for that opening. Dragon was just taken by Ferris.
So Reginald in trouble again on the mid lane. Down he goes. Up top, Jace going to be able to take out the turret. Muffin Cutie working on Chaos. APHROOMOO in the crescendo. Drops his ult. Not going to be able to get it on the way back. A little bit of healing, and Chaos has to disengage. X Special wants one more shot. APHROOMOO gets it on the far edge. Mandatory Cloud facing off with Odd One, and they come on to X Special. X Special flashing out early. Smithy not concerned about the towers. Going to tank it out for APHROOMOO. Nothing he can do. X Special dead under the turret. APHROOMOO improves to 4-2-1.
I mean, right now a 3,000 gold lead in favor of Ferris. They're really just kind of dominating their lanes. That fight, by the way, was won because at the last second, the passive from Draven procced off his last auto attack to finally finish off Chaos. And there's just so much damage coming out of Draven at this point in his auto attacks. Like, he does 219 base. With his spinning axe, that's going to be an extra 186 damage. So he's dealing 400 damage per auto attack. Plus he has the dot going on. Chaos, when he tries to go for these long man fights, you know, it looks like he's doing well till that last second when his skills are on cooldown and he just kind of dies in response.
So, Dyrus in, picks up mid-outer. No turrets answered back just yet. Odd One going to come up and defend from the Balls minion army. And keep everything in good shape. Make sure that those turrets are covered, and that's one of those places that TSM excels in making things a lot harder to get done in primary objective land. So the 2,500 gold that enemy has in lead, 21 minutes 45 seconds into this one, going to be rough to just get in onto the turrets and do the damage. Are they interested in that just yet? X Special taking a ton of damage off of APHROOMOO. He switches it over to Chaos, but the lane now feeling a little bit like it's flipped back into control of mMe Ferus. It was a rough early game there for the bottom lane, but they got it together.
It was, but Spinning Axes got leveled up, and at that point, there was very little they could do to defend against the Draven. Like, they can't really go for focus now because APHROOMOO, he's going to walk in, take the harass, they deal with him, and just poke him back for more damage. They can try and sustain it, but APHROOMOO does have a Bloodthirster, so that life steal is going to be hard to deal with. And really, harass at this point is kind of pointless from both sides. Now, the turret is really what Ferris needs to start taking. They need to take bottom turret, they need to take mid and top. They're in a good spot in terms of gold, but they haven't taken any map objectives besides the Dragon.
Yeah, and with mid and top outer turrets down, taken care of, that's one of the things they got to start looking at. APHROOMOO taking the worst of a beating off of that, but Diana on the way down. Odd One slips into the brush unnoticed, gonna get a knock up from Muffin Cutie. Chaos going to miss his first shot on the Mandatory Cloud, and X Special going to get picked off. It wasn't the ult that got him. Mandatory Cloud got himself another little smack in there onto X Special after the Draven ult slid through, and that's going to push things out to 3,000 gold as a nice, what ended up being a mid lane shift down. When I was looking at that mid-outer, I was like, ooh, are they going to pick that up? Nope, not with Reggie there. Too many mushrooms to deal with, and going to pay off nicely. Diana shifts bottom, and the minion's been doing work on top outer, so Ferris having this one well in hand as things start to pan out. A couple minutes earlier, looking like TSM was going to be able to maybe put some pressure on him, but now everything well in hand. Mid-outer extremely low, top outer getting there.
And combined, those turrets have 750 HP. Yeah. Combined, those turrets have less HP than half a turret. Yeah. So it's going to be seconds to kill one if they do get the creep wave up there. If at any point Balls was feeling very confident, he could just try and push it himself with Dire standing there. So they have the option to really put pressure on TSM. They know they're going to lose those objectives, give up that gold, or they're going to have to try and fight it, which, you know, they're behind by so much. Fighting for a dying turret may not be worth it. And this is kind of a scary lead because it's a very fast lead. They have Yorick. So APHROOMOO, even though he's an easier to pick off carry being Draven and not having those escapes, he's got Yorick, he's got the Ghost. There'll be 2 APHROOMOOs and eventually 1 extra APHROOMOO lasting for 10 seconds that will just be very hard to deal with.
And, you know, what a turret is, I mean, even if it ends up on Diana coming back to life.
Not that much better.
Yeah, not a great situation. Smithy going to miss the just middle of River Ward, and it's going to be a battle of the Oracles as Odd One tries to intimidate Smithy. It does not work. And mid-outer under attack. That's APHROOMOO hungry for turrets. He gets the gravy, and going to keep farming it up. Likes minions, too. You got to get some potatoes into this. Tower's just the gravy for him.
Reggie actually did try and take down APHROOMOO, uses combo onto him, did about half his health and damage. Actually, Baron being attempted now by Smithy and the rest of Ferris. The Ezreal ult does spot them out. It takes to about half HP now, but will they be able to kill it quickly enough? Doesn't look like it. TSM, what's the response?
They're in here. Is Odd One going to come over the wall? Acceleration gate through. The damage has been more or less halted. Going to pop the Janna ult. Doesn't do it early enough. And the smite is good from Odd One. He cannot be out-smoked. And gets the Baron steal, but they immediately answer back with a kill onto him. TSM got plenty of health, though, and it's going to be hard for Ferris to answer this with a beautiful steal. How does he do it?
You cannot smite the Odd One.
You just can't do it.
You just can't. It's just not possible.
Smithy out-smiting earlier in a half a second, but couldn't do it there. This Odd One just has some sort of magical counter in his brain.
The ult from X Special actually delayed that smite long enough. It threw off the timing coming in from Smithy that it just let them get that Baron, let them get that Dragon. They're still behind by 2,000 some gold, but that's a great chance for them to come back now. Alright, they lost the Odd One and an Oracles. That sucks, but you know what? Now they can go for picks on Muffin Cutie. Now they can try and get some stuff done. Muffin Cutie taken really low, but does use a shield, does survive. They're
just going to roll through the acceleration gate, slide forward. Muffin Cutie low, can't capitalize. Doesn't get it.
A very close ult. And actually, even though I said he survived, he still got taken down to 160 HP because of the poison tick. So very close.
Just calling oops, that aim.
Every now and then you gotta whip a Dyrus shock blast just to go ahead and make it seem like, you know, maybe you're bad at Dyrus, maybe you don't need to worry about him.
Yeah, just get him a false sense of confidence.
Pull Shark Dyrus.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm terrible at pool. Don't make me play pool against this guy.
For money? Yeah. Okay, I'll do one for $100.
I guess I got $100, man. You know, I just bought the new BMW though.
All right.
I mean, still a 2,500 gold game, 27 minutes, not a big lead, and especially with Baron buff ticking away, it's going to be up to Ferris here to press every advantage they can in controlling movement around the map. They've got work going down onto the top outer turret. That one's finished up now, and just going to need to be able to keep TSM looking. It's, again, not a super early Baron, but still a fairly early one as far as how much pressure is going to be able to be applied to mid, especially with the lead still in Ferris's favor. That's going to cut into what they're going to be eating up. Odd One caught out, but nobody able to get in close to Smithy quite fast enough. They're going to move over onto Reginald, who is way at the back here. APHROOMOO and Diana going to get the work done there. Ball's still running out front. X Special running low. Crescendo dropped onto Balls. He's going to get a lot of damage off of theyre. The knock-up from Muffin Cutie going to buy time for a possible escape here with red buff. They'll be able to keep him slowed pretty consistently. Muffin Cutie out to the side, and the damage just ticking away. Gets a shield onto himself, knock up onto Jace. Odd One still has not disengaged and is going to follow this one all the way home. Smithy back in, and did TSM overextend here? Odd One may have. He is going to get worked. Got APHROOMOO running interference to make sure theyre can't come in and stop the private, very personal party they set up. More of an intervention, really, to talk about how close you're allowed to come to their turrets, boundaries and things like that. Odd One overextends, pays the price. The lead back out to 3,000 gold for mMe Ferus, and down goes another Baron buff.
I'm actually surprised that they did that chase on TSM and Chaos went back to base. He was pushing down that bot turret, took it down about 500 HP, but he had a chance to keep slow pushing, maybe, you know, go towards that inhibitor turret, apply pressure there, as long as TSM kind of hung around trying to bait out and stall out against Ferris. But he did go back, and they really didn't get anything out of that fight besides that bot turret. At this point, Ferris, the Barons have been taken, you know, once again, they have a chance to be applying pressure. Only theyre, Chaos, and Xpecial have their Barons at this point. So that's still three important people with Barons. Not so much, but they can't go for a sustained push. Reggie will take poke, won't have anything to sustain him besides Sona. They're not in that good spot that they were about 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, I mean, the problem being, at this point, oh, Chaos pulled across, melted, but they're going to be able to get Draven back as Reggie comes alive with 1,000,000 damage and blows him up. Smithy going to get crescendoed. He's going to go down. It's a fairly even trade so far, but Balls joins the fight. It's now 4v3 and a drastic run away. Smithy ghosted in there. He's just going to hold still. The rest of Ferris going to disengage, however, on the back of that one. So still 2,500 gold out front, but making some work here as they keep TSM at bay for the full duration of Baron. Out 17-7 on the kills, but still, I mean, TSM staying really close into this one despite the large kill disparity.
Really quickly looking at just how that fight went. APHROOMOO walked towards Reginald. He took a bit of damage from Chaos, but Reggie used his DFG, used his Blinding Dart, and I think he might have landed a Mushroom and an auto attack afterwards, which was almost enough just to instantly wipe out APHROOMOO. So they still have to be cautious of Reginald. He has not had the best game, but he still has 200 CS, 30-minute mark. He's still relatively scary, and he can still do something like kill APHROOMOO, which very importantly, when that blind is on Reginald, there's no lifesteal coming in for APHROOMOO, and that's really something important right now because he doesn't have any defense besides that Bloodthirster and high movement speed.
And I mean, the Mushroom just dead center. I'd follow that up with the DFG.
Mushroom right now, a Mushroom deals 944 damage, so Afro cannot get hit by a Mushroom. That's half his HP right now in one Mushroom.
Yeah, I mean, and that's pretty much what happened there. Mushroom, DFG, pops the shot
dart
into him.
You're dead. You're dead.
There's nothing he could do. Of course, Reggie ended up dead at the end of that, as he was pretty much dead center of the mMe Ferus team. But, I mean, what a one to get.
Yeah, if you're going to pick off anybody on Ferris right now, it better be that Draven.
Yeah, 7-3-3.
Balls wasn't nearby.
233 CS. Yeah, Balls late into the game. Not able to get down onto him. They spin it on Smithy. Smithy going to pull Chaos over. Chaos going out again. Muffin Cutie with the kill. Odd One in, doing what he can. Mandatory Cloud going to end up top. GA is procced, but he is still in this one. And will he be able to add anything on? No, sir. The entire team are in a little bit low, but they're going to follow it up. Reggie through. They get Diana out. Draven down. But the ghost of APHROOMOO is alive and well, giving ill tidings about the future of Christmases for everybody on TSM. theyre's back up. The ghost disappears, but they still manage to pick up Jace. Ball's going to fight it out with Odd One and get the better of him. An ace for 3, or ace for 2. Muffin Cutie got out of there. And Skarner's still alive. League of Draven calls
League of Draven. And at this point, like, what's going on with TSM is they're just being caught off guard by the Skarner initiation. It's Xmithy starting these fights. Even the fights that, you know, went equal, it was Xmithy getting a good pull, get someone out of the fight, and in the end, we've seen how effective it is. Getting Chaos through the wall, that's just knowledge right there. That's just knowing, alright, there's a tiny bit of range on the ultimate for Skarner. I can pull him through this wall. So it's just a great pull sitting through that fight. Chaos, he's got to survive. He's 1-5-1 right now. He's still kind of scary on Ezreal, but they need him alive just to compete at all with APHROOMOO. I will say, though, the kite potential coming out from TSM, they only took out 2 members of Ferris, but most of them were low at the end. And a lot of that was just the fact that they had to run, chase Reginald, chase those mushrooms, and they really couldn't in the end.
Yeah.
Baron has respawned, and Ferris, they're looking for a fight now. They know they can go ahead. They can take it, and they just need to actually land their smite or make sure Odd One is dead.
And I really was, you know, sort of surprised there. They ran very low, just weren't able to finish anything up. X Special going to get pulled over as they buy time for Mandatory Cloud to come in. He can't get the damage landed. Crescendo maybe going to be able to turn things around. Muffin Cutie with a quick ult and disengage there. Going to set things up to get things into position. APHROOMOO going to drop his ult across. Teemo out, solves one of their problems, but Diana down, which introduces another. Odd One running low as he's just getting chipped away. Chaos not convincing enough to get them to leave the poor man in the turtle outfit alone. Smithy going to get the kill there and show his jungler's pride. Clearing the wards here through Benson's lane, and will the Reggie Odd One pickup be enough for this attempt on Baron? With no smite on the field for 40 seconds, that might be exactly what's going on. Looks like it is. Ward down in the Baron pit. They're going to clear it, so there's no free vision through. Chaos going to try and continue to poke as much as possible. Dyrus adding on good damage. 2 wards in the Baron pit now. APHROOMOO, the one that's out front, making sure TSM can't come in on this for free. Baron only down just below half health, so they're going to turn it around and get themselves a couple of more TSM flavors to add to the Baskin-Robbins menu. Dyrus up over the wall. Going to get slowed here. Can he get away? Muffin Cutie in with the knockup. Not looking good for Dyrus in an escape, but he gets balls taken care of, and that is probably going to be enough to stop the Baron grab. Is indeed as Smithy's going to head home.
Odd One has respawned, Original's back up, so they don't have to worry about the Baron attempt anymore, but there are still 2 members down on TSM. They're not winning fights. People are still getting caught out. It doesn't really seem to matter who it is, because in the end, someone important will die on TSM. And that's the problem right now. Everybody matters so much. Reggie needs to be alive to take care of APHROOMOO. Chaos, he's the AD carry, has to be alive to take care of everybody else. X Special, they need to get that ultimate off. Odd One, I guess he's more of the disruption, but in the control, and Dyrus, they need his burst. Like, they need everybody on TSM. And Skarner, with the way he's playing, with the way X-Men going hyper-aggressive for those pulls, it doesn't seem to matter, like, if he's in a bad spot or not. He gets a good pull off, and he puts TSM in a really bad position. For the most part, getting kills. Last fight, not so much, but he still got X Special to blow the ult before the fight really started.
Yeah. And, yeah, that crescendo out front, it's not where you want it. Muffin Cutie going to roll forward. They're going to take out the satellites. Ooh, Muffin Cutie almost rolls into it, but reads it. He's like, oh, I know which side it's on.
Swag.
Possibly actually saw
what are you thinking right now?
With the vision of the brush as Skarner was hanging out there.
You have to make a guess, for example. That makes sense because TSM would try and enter that bush from the right side, so Chance already put it on the right side. So just, some smart deduction coming in from Muffin Cutie and the rest of Ferris.
So, acceleration gate is spent for a couple seconds here. They're going to get the Sona speed buff, and Reginald going to help everybody slide away, or rather, Odd One going to help everybody slide away with Cerullius. But that's what I want to pick up on here. I have 5,000 gold difference across the team, even though it's 26 to 11. So, I mean, TSM is doing a great job sticking in this one, even though they're well behind on the kill count. Hopefully they're being very mindful of where their gold actually is, which got to be kind of hard to do at the moment, as the CS numbers pretty different there. Diana well out front. A 5-man attempt here with Odd One on the field is terrifying the best at times, and can they get over the wall for another steal? They're going to go ahead and disengage Baron for the time being. Mandatory Cloud going to run out the side. Odd One with the impeccable timing of a genius, not able to get the steal this time, and Odd One pulled around into a 5v1. He goes down very quickly. Mandatory Cloud in onto Dyrus. Dyrus out to APHROOMOO. X Special on the run. Knockup doesn't quite get him. Chaos, well, he's not going to escape anyway, but Chaos on the way out towards mid-inner and poking down Mandatory Cloud. Going to decide that that's the end of that. APHROOMOO going to be able to chase down poor Reggie down bottom. Chaos going to escape with his life. No, the E pulls him back across. Chaos with a slow run. Can't do it. Ace for Mandatory Cloud. And they are going to be down for quite a while. 24 seconds to Odd One. Everybody's still alive. A Baron buff. Minion wave with Cannon Minion on the way in. And they should be able to clean this one up pretty nicely. Can Odd One get up in time along with X Special to convince them that maybe they might like to have a little tea break over at Mrs. Nesbitt's house? I don't think they're going to be able to do it. Just going to tank those tower outs. GG call from TSM as game 1 going to go in the magnificent style over to mMe Ferus. Very well played.
That is pretty much it. Ferris played amazingly well. They used the strength of their team comp. They abused Reginald in the mid lane. Never let him get too far ahead as Teemo in the early game. And once Teemo left laning, or even actually while he was still in laning, Mandatory Cloud just showed how much more effective Diana was instead of that Teemo. Overall, just a well-played game from Ferris. They did what they needed to do. They shut down the right people. In their bot lane, they learned how to duel against that Sona Ezreal combo by being hyper aggressive. Once they reached like level 7, level 8, and they had that sweet, awesome, just I am Draven, I am now tremendous damage potential. A great game. That was just